Benoit Saint-Denis is fighting Dan Hooker in January. Now, who's going to win this fight? Well, first of all, who's going to win this fight? Let's take a look at their latest performances, in which Benoit Saint-Denis fought Mauricio Rufy, in which Benoit Saint-Denis started off very fast, got Mauricio Rufy in a face crank, and made him tap in round 2. Now, after this, Benoit Saint-Denis went on to fight Benoit Saint-Denis, in which Benoit Saint-Denis knocked out Benoit Saint-Denis in round 1. Now, let's take a look at Dan Hooker's latest performances, in which he fought Mateusz Gamrot, in which Mateusz Gamrot walked Dan Hooker.
The wrestling, and that's when I'm going to land the heavy shot I need to. Oh, he hurt him.
But then Dan Hooker dropped Mateusz Gamrot in round 1.
Yep. He's one of the toughest guys in this entire.
But then both went back and forth, both landed some great shots, but Dan Hooker won by decision. And after this, Dan Hooker went on to fight Arman Tsarukyan, in which Arman Tsarukyan started off great, got Dan Hooker in an arm triangle choke, and made him tap in round 2.
It is a coming now for Dan Hooker. It looks like he's coming.
Now, this fight is going to be a crazy one. The UFC really got two guys who love the game to fight each other, because it's really rare when either Dan Hooker or Benoit Saint-Denis fail to entertain the fans, because they either end up dominating their opponents or they end up getting their asses whooped. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they win or lose, because they still put on a show. So let's talk about how this fight can play out, and let's take a look at both men. Well, Dan Hooker is not somebody who belongs at the top, and soon his time will come to an end, to where he's either going to retire or he's just going to fight bums, due to the fact that everybody who is better than him is going to start passing him in the ranks, and he's going to get left behind. I mean, Dan Hooker has never been championship material. He's 35 years old, and the only thing that he is really good at, and the only thing that we can expect to see from him in this fight, is to get into a street fight with Benoit Saint-Denis, just letting his hands go and looking for the knockout, because if the fight goes to the ground or if the fight gets technical, he won't stand a chance. So that's the only way that I can see Dan Hooker having success and possibly winning this fight, by just looking to overwhelm Benoit Saint-Denis, pushing the pace of the fight, and just looking to put a lot of punishment on Benoit Saint-Denis. And although Benoit Saint-Denis has been stopped before, I truly believe that he has learned from his mistakes. So this time he won't make the same mistake of keeping the fight on the feet if the other guy is landing some big shots on him. So in the end, I got Benoit Saint-Denis easily winning this fight. I believe he's going to give Dan Hooker a really good back and forth fight, and I want to see him incorporate his wrestling and grappling. And if he does, it is over for Dan Hooker, because Benoit Saint-Denis is really good when it comes to taking his opponents down and dominating on the ground. And in the end, I wouldn't be surprised if Benoit Saint-Denis finishes Dan Hooker.